If you've ever taken any interest in true crime, and we suspect you have if you're watching this, then you've probably seen this man's face circulated across YouTube and news outlets. This man is Nico Jenkins, a convicted spree killer that took the lives of 4 innocent people in a short 10-day span in 2013. But why did Nico do this? Was he evil? Was it truly the Egyptian god Apophis giving him orders? Or did he suffer such a debilitating mental illness that he was not of his right mind? Perhaps his crimes could have been prevented if only his caretakers listened to his pleas to give him the help he needed. Let's find out the truth as we dive into the complicated life and crimes of Nico Jenkins. Nico Allen Jenkins was born in Colorado on September 16, 1986, to parents David McGee and Lori Jenkins. The couple had 5 other children together but were never married, and David left the family when Nico was only 7. Nico's upbringing after moving to Omaha, Nebraska was anything but stable. He was subjected to mental, physical, and sexual abuse, and bore witness to illegal activity in the home. Nico recalled early childhood memories in which he cleaned up blood from the floor after his parents got into physical altercations. In one instance, even resorted to hitting his father with a rock to break up another spat between the two. At the age of 7, Nico brought a loaded handgun to school and was removed from his home and placed into foster care. He was evaluated at Methodist Richard Young Hospital after becoming more aggressive towards others and expressing a desire to self-harm. In the assessment, his IQ was recorded to be in the low average range, and he was put in special education classes. Nico continued to land himself in trouble at school and eventually dropped out altogether in middle school. Hospital records indicate that from an early age, Nico suffered from mood problems and was diagnosed with oppositional defiant disorder and ADHD that prompted him to seek emotional stimulation. The trauma he suffered was not easily pushed aside, as he also suffered from insomnia and night terrors. Nico also reported that he heard voices, and his mother sometimes caught him speaking to people that were not there. Telltale signs of psychopathy, such as bedwetting, starting fires, and killing animals, were all present in Nico's childhood, in addition to other severe behavioral and mental health issues that should have indicated to law enforcement and healthcare professionals that something much worse was to come. By the time Nico reached the age of 13, he had been arrested multiple times for theft, arson, and weapons charges, in addition to a substance abuse problem and gang involvement. In 2002, at the age of 15, Nico committed 2 carjackings that included an armed robbery. He was sentenced to 18 years in prison in 2003 at the age of 17. He served 2 years in a juvenile detention center until he was transferred to an adult facility. In July of 2005, he assaulted a prison guard while out on furlough. That ended in an extended sentence. During his stay in prison, Nico participated in riots, fights, self-mutilation, verbal threats, and all-around poor behavior, causing him to be placed in solitary confinement for extended periods of time. In fact, Nico spent more time in solitary confinement than in the general population. In July of 2013, Nico was released from prison without being paroled or given any type of assimilation help. On August 11, 2013, a patrol officer discovered the bodies of 2 men in a white pickup truck at Spring Lake Park in Omaha. The 2 men, identified as Juan Uribe Pena and Jorge Cajilla Ruiz, had both been shot in the head, their pockets unturned. Several deer slugs were found at the scene. Only a week later, on August 19th, another body was found, that of 22-year-old Curtis Bradford. He had also been shot in the head and deer slugs were found near the body. On August 21st, 2013, a call was placed to 911 for shots fired. Andrea Kruger was carjacked after leaving work, and her body was found shortly after a call was placed for shots fired near the area. Andrea's car was discovered the following day in an alley after an attempt was made to set it on fire. 9 days later, police received a call from a woman claiming that Nico Jenkins, her ex-boyfriend, threatened to kill her and her family and revealed that he'd been given a gun. Nico was arrested on terroristic threats and a search warrant was issued for the apartment. A sawed-off shotgun was retrieved during the search and the slugs at the crime scenes were shown to have come from the weapon during future tests. Police found surveillance footage of a woman purchasing the same type of ammunition used in the crimes. The woman was identified as Laurie Jenkins, Nico's mother. Once the cops made the connection between the two, Nico was brought in for questioning relating to the spree killings on September 3rd, 2013.
There you go.
I don't like to be alone. I need to speak to someone.
Okay.
Because that's what makes my mind frame goes back. Obviously I'm schizophrenic, bipolar, so I don't take medication. So right now, that's why I'm trying to stay. That's why I told them they need to hurry up when I'm in this mind frame.
Okay.
So that when I speak to you, this is clear.
And
but another thing, what I'm about to do, the sheriff office and you guys need to be honest with me.
Okay.
Because if we're going to make this work and get this closure for this family, you're going to have to tell me what you have and what you don't have. That way I know if I have to go get it for you, because these are my cousins.
Okay.
These are my two family, the ones that were in the house that day.
Okay. Okay.
They're brothers, but the one of them, you think I'm a mental case. He's a severe mental case. He has documented being in Lincoln Regional Center, Psychiatric Hospital. See what I'm saying? So if he goes into it, like even when y'all arrested me, I don't know if you were on the team, but he was acting up when they were pulling us out the house.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I just don't want this to, that's why I didn't want to talk down at the jail.
I get him on the stick, all right? I'm going to make you a fresh pot, too. That's not the best, but it's what we got right now. So I'll make you a fresh pot. Here it is. All right? You good?
I need to speak to her superiors about this. The ones that I know that can...
He's my boss.
This is a man.
The ones that I know that can make the...
Nico, John Pankin.
First of all, this is going to be a long night, but you're going to get everything that you're going to need to give her family closure. But I want you to understand something, and I'm going to say this very clearly. I was not there. Only thing I was hearsay, not hearsay, but to say, like, okay, my religion of Kathoni Asumpel, that's the underworld. He was like on the mummy, the black book. So this was them, my little cousins, the one that were in the house with me. That when I got served the search warrant.
Right.
This was their ritual of sacrifice. And I'm going to give you from A to Z. This is not no goose chase. This is the real deal right here, which you people signed up for.
Okay. Before we get any further, though, I need to read you this rights advisory form, okay? Okay.
I never knew the who, the what, the when, the where. Only thing I gave was the intelligence. Okay.
Describe this to me. What this 9mm? Describe it to me.
Describe the weapon.
Yes.
It's a high point. It's a high point. I believe it's a high point rifle. But it shoots 9mm slugs. And if you was to see this weapon, you would not believe that it was the murder weapon. Like I said, weeks prior to this, when I first got out, I gave intelligence. Like I said, I didn't know who was coming, what was coming, who was it going to be used on. All I did was give the intelligence.
What kind of intelligence?
Intelligence of when would be the best window of opportunity. What roads to take in. If you're going to do something way out west, they have cameras on the lights. As you know, when you take Fort from Military Ave, it takes you all the way out with no cameras, pitch black at nighttime. You realize that one, right? So if you're coming from that crime scene, you can hit it straight out to Fort, and take Fort all the way back to Military Ave, all the way to the Walmart. That's right off the interstate. Ain't that Walmart right off the interstate? Off of Military Ave?
Yeah.
So my point is, things like that, the intelligence of what paths to take, you know what I mean, to avoid the cameras, things of that nature. The bar closed at this time, bartenders, they're walked out to their cars, but after that, you know what I mean, do, you know what I mean? Because the specific point was to get her to an isolated place. You see what I'm saying? To where, and obviously, when you're out there, only thing that's, like, especially off of Maple, once you leave off of Maple, everything is black. Everything's black out there. So, it was a perfect opportunity. And that's why y'all don't even understand, man. I don't understand how hard this is for me right now, because I'm portraying my family. Do y'all understand it? This is not just me. I understand one family's getting closure, you know, but I'm literally betraying my family and my bloodline.
After
You all right?
You alright, man? You alright, man?
That's what I don't understand, man. Is that all I was in the restaurant corrections, man. All I wanted was help from the people, man.
You need more coffee or not?
Yes, please.
Okay.
But I'm telling you right now, what I just given them, I will testify to that. And this is the first time that I've ever aided and assisted law enforcement in my life. So any jury, any judge, any prosecutor will be, once I sit on that stand and testify to this, it's golden. Any jury is not going to look at me and say, oh, he's told before and he's done. With my history and my reputation, and this first time testimony of ever aided and assisted law enforcement, and everything that I'm saying is accurate.
This is, you gotta come to film.
I understand.
Because here, listen to me. But listen, no, I've listened to you for a long time. It's time for you to listen to me. Because like what you said, if you don't tell me what the heck happened out there, people are going to think the absolute worst. People are going to think the absolute worst. If this is a robbery went bad, if there's someone panicked, did something really stupid, now's the time. Because otherwise, you're right. They're going to look at Nico Jenkins as a flat, bloody killer. That's what's going to happen. Do you not realize I got Nico Jenkins? Do you not realize that? I got Nico Jenkins. I got you.
What do you mean you got me?
I got your DNA at the murder scene. I got your DNA in the car.
Sir.
I got the weapon. I got Nico Jenkins. I don't need to make... I don't care about it. I just want other people that are involved in it. What the hell happened out there? And why? I already... I know who. I know what. I know when. I know where. And then when I talked to you earlier, you were saying stuff about a carjacking.
That woman's husband and children, that woman's husband is grieving right now. This is not just some psycho killer that just wanted to go trophy. I am documented psychiatrically disordered. I'm documented chemically imbalanced. This is a fact.
Yeah.
So my point is...
We're well aware of that.
My point is this, though. This family didn't deserve this.
Right.
This could have been prevented had it not been for the Nebraska Department of Corrections doing what they knew what they supposed to have did. And they never gave me an opportunity. They never gave me an opportunity for treatment because I wouldn't take the medicine.
It was revealed that the first two victims, Juan Pena and Jorge Ruiz, were lured to the park with the promise of sex by Nico's sister Erica Jenkins and cousin Christine Bordeaux, where Nico met them and promptly shot both men once in the head before the trio robbed them. Neither of the men had any link to Nico, Erica, or Christine. The next victim, Curtis Bradford, was a cellmate of Nico's at one point during his incarceration. The two happened to run into each other at a party where Nico falsely recruited Curtis to commit robberies together. Curtis follows Nico into the car where Erica is waiting. When they arrive at their destination, they exit the vehicle where Erica shoots him in the head. This upset Nico as he was the one that wanted to kill Curtis, causing him to shoot him again in the back of the head. Their last victim, Andrea Kruger, had just left her shift at a local bar when she decided to go through the drive-thru of a McDonald's on her way home. On that evening, Nico was joined again by Erica and Christine, and now his uncle, Warren Lavering. They spot Andrea's SUV in the restaurant's parking lot and follow her until they reach a secluded junction where Nico rushes the driver's side and forces Andrea out of the car. He then shoots her immediately and subsequently steals her vehicle. In a letter to the Omaha World Herald, Nico again confesses to the crimes, but places blame on the Department of Corrections, again reiterating their refusal to get him the help he needs. He writes, "I requested to be hospitalized numerous times. They had full knowledge of Apophis and demonic forces." Apophis, better known as Apep, is the Egyptian snake god of chaos. Nico referred to this god on several occasions as one of the voices that he heard in his head and insisted that he committed crimes at his bidding for the promise of his protection. His then-wife, Cholanda Jenkins, claims that he'd taken orders from the serpent since he was a child.
It was this voice that came and was just like, if you do what I tell you to do, if you follow my demands, then I'll make sure you're safe and make sure you're okay.
His wife did indeed send a letter to the county attorney asking for Nico to be committed rather than released from prison before the murders. His last health assessment before his release stated that he no longer expressed a desire to harm himself or others and that he no longer spoke to Apophis. Nico's first assessment after his arrest, performed by Dr. Bruce Gutnick, deemed him incompetent to stand trial in November 2013 due to his schizophrenia. In February of the following year, Nico sued the state of Nebraska for mishandling his case and refusing to listen to his pleas for help, but was denied. That same month, he was evaluated again and found to be competent enough to stand trial, and that he was manipulating the system into believing he was more mentally unstable than he appeared. After he was ruled competent, Nico began acting out in protest in a series of self-harm episodes, in which he swallowed prison keys, mutilated himself when he tried to carve 666 into his face, though he was not looking at the reflection property and ended up carving 999, and in one instance cut his penis in an attempt to make it look like his serpent god Apophis, and ended up with 27 stitches. He also tried to cut his tongue in half to make it look forked like a snake, but failed, and smeared blood all over his cell. His case finally went to trial, where after firing his legal team, Nico represented himself. He acted inappropriately in the courtroom when his crimes were described and appeared to be speaking in tongues or an unknown language. However, he pled no contest in a 3-panel bench trial and was convicted. In May of 2017, Nico Jenkins was sentenced to death for his crimes.
Therefore, this panel finds that the death penalty is appropriate, should be, and is hereby given for each of the 4 murders by the defendant. It is therefore the sentence of this court as follows. At case CR 13-2768, count 1, murder in the first degree, a class 1 felony, death. Count 2, use of a deadly weapon, firearm to commit a felony, a class 1C felony, 45 to 50 years to run consecutive to all murder convictions at counts 1, 4, 7, and 10. Count 3, possession of a deadly weapon by a prohibited person, class 1D felony, 45 to 50 years to run consecutive to all murder convictions at counts 1, 4, 7, and 10, and count 2.
Warren Lavering, Nico's uncle, was sentenced to 40 years for his part in the murder of Andrea Kruger. Nico's sister Erica was only sentenced to 20 to 40 years for her participation in the murder of Curtis Bradford, and Christine Bordeaux was sentenced to 20 for her role. Nico is serving his sentence in the Nebraska State Penitentiary, where he has made several attempts to take his own life, but has also found love with a Texas woman as of 2019.
These DVDs for you, and I'll make them for you. I want you to know that you make my heart flutter. I love you. I think about you every day. I wrote this song for you, so you know that I love you. And all I need you to do is stand with me right now in this moment that I'm fighting this case and stuff like that. Because at the same time, it's gonna be okay. We're gonna have our time. And everything's gonna be alright, so just be good and just chill and listen to me sing this song to you. And I was thinking about just talking about stuff we talk about, you know. I wrote this song for you and I sung it to you before, but it's not the same as hearing it now. But I'm gonna start it off in a second. Ladies, 'cause you my sexy gay, my sexy gay. Your pretty face, your pretty face. Okay, that's the song that I wrote for you.
Nico did attempt to appeal his death sentence, but was denied. It was concluded that though Jenkins suffered from personality disorders, he was likely feigning much of his affliction. In the end, Nico Jenkins was right in asking not to be released from prison, and the justice system failed him in many ways. However, it does not take away from the fact that Nico Jenkins knew right from wrong and decided to take 4 innocent lives from their families and friends.